Good morning, everybody. My name is Carrie, and I'm the lead keeper of our Habitat Africa the Forest section. And today we're here to celebrate JP Okapi's 5th birthday. So in order to celebrate, he's getting one of his favorite treats, and that is browse from trees. So we have a list of trees throughout the park that we know are safe for them to consume. And we also have a partnership with ComEd, and they deliver browse to us as they're trimming tree lines. So that's a really great partnership because it gets us lots of access to browse that he can enjoy. So as I mentioned, JP is 5 years old. He was born here at Brookfield Zoo. He is the only Okapi we have here at the zoo right now that was born here. So his mother and his father are no longer with us. They've moved on to other zoos, but he's here, and he's playing a special role with us now as our breeding male. So he currently has 2 females that he can get introduced to. We have 10-year-old Makemba and 4-year-old Coda, and they're currently on a different exhibit space. But we're rotating through all the Okapis into different exhibit spaces this summer so that they can all get a chance to visit with each other. So today he's by himself, but that can change on a daily basis. So just a little bit more about Okapi. So I mentioned that browse from trees is one of their favorite treats, and that's because it's a very natural part of their diet. In their native habitats, they'd be almost exclusively eating leaves from trees and bushes and herby materials. So they're considered what we call a strict browser, and so they eat very little grass. They primarily just eat leaves from trees. And Okapi are from the Ituri forest in the Congo area of Africa. And so they live very deep in the rainforest, and they have a lot of very special adaptations to live in those rainforest environments. I don't know how well you can pick up on the sound of his hooves walking, but they're very, very quiet when they walk. And in fact, even here in a zoo setting, sometimes they'll sneak up right behind keepers because they move so quietly. And that's one of the reasons that this species was not discovered to the Western world until very late in the 1800s. I think it's very late in the 1800s, if not very early in the 1900s. So they're a very elusive species, and quite often when they feel threatened, their primary defense is really just to freeze. They blend in very well in that deep vegetation. They have that rusty brown color, and those stripe patterns on their legs really help to camouflage them into their environments. And again, sometimes even in a zoo setting, if the light is filtering just right through the trees, sometimes we have a hard time finding them as well. They're very well adapted to hiding. And then if they continue to feel threatened, they will take off bolting through all that underbrush, and they can have a very powerful kick. They can have a very powerful head toss. You'll notice on JP that the males have what we call ossicones, and that's a feature that is shared with their closest relative, the giraffe. And so it's different than a true horn. It's actually part of their skull, so the base of it is bony, and then it's just covered in hair. So that ossicone is something that only the giraffid family has. And in Okapi, only male have ossicones, as opposed to giraffes, in which both males and females have ossicones. And so the males will use those when they're competing with other males for territory and for access to females.
So they have another feature that they share with giraffes. Do you know what that is?
Their tongue. I was like, I'm sure there are lots of them, and my mind is blanking.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite, so I always like to bring it up.
Yeah, their tongue is very interesting. So they have like an 18-inch long tongue, and they use that to grasp onto branches and strip off the leaves from those branches. And in both giraffe and okapi, the tips of their tongues are actually purple. And that's because it contains extra melanin, and it protects the skin on their tongue from exposure to the sun, because they're always using it to reach out and grasp those materials.
Sorry, that's like my favorite fact.
Yeah. Their tongues
okapi.
are super interesting.
We have a couple questions if you're ready for some.
Yeah.
Do you know when okapi first came to Brookfield Zoo?
Okapi first came to Brookfield. I know this. They came in 1952, and actually the first okapi ever born in the United States was named Mr. G, and he was born at Brookfield Zoo in 1954.
Cool. Are we part of the Okapi SSP?
We are, and actually Okapi are managed as a global population. So not only do we partner with other zoos here in the United States, but we also partner with zoos in Europe and the Middle East and Japan. And so in total, like the global population outside of their native habitats is about 170 animals. And it is rare that we will make those transfers overseas, but it does happen, and that's a way that we can maintain their genetic diversity and ensure that they're going to have continued success going into the future.
Someone made the observation that they look like they're velvet. What do they feel like?
They do feel velvety. Their coat is very soft and short, and it sticks sort of straight up like velvet, but it's also very greasy. And that's an adaptation to protect their skin in that rainforest environment. And so when we touch them and pet them, it does leave a really dark, sort of, almost slimy, oily, greasy material on our hands. And they really love having their ears groomed. It's something that they do to each other when they encounter another okapi, but they'll also offer that up to their keepers too. And the inside of their ears are particularly greasy.
So I know we usually like to talk about the stripes. What are those for?
There's a couple different theories about the striping, and one is just simply that it allows for camouflage in the forest environments like we were talking about. And another leading theory is that because those stripes are all unique to each individual, it's a way for the calves to stay in contact with their mothers. Like very young okapi calves will nest, and so they'll just find a little hiding spot, and their mothers will leave them for several hours out of the day. But then once they get older, they'll follow their mothers through the forest, and there's sort of this theory that they're like follow me stripes, and it's a way for the calf to keep in contact with their mother.
I like that. Follow me stripes.
Yeah.
What do they eat besides browse?
Well, in their native habitats, they would almost exclusively eat browse. But then here at the zoo, they also get a grain product, and they get different produce and greens. They get like a big salad every day. And then the bulk of their diet is made up of alfalfa hay.
Ooh, now that he's close enough, you can see his beautiful long eyelashes.
Yeah, that's another protection for living in that rainforest environment. It helps protect their eye as they're traveling through that dense forest.
What's your favorite fact about okapi? Okapis?
Okapis.
Okapis.
Yeah. One of my favorite facts about okapi is in reference to the fact that those okapi calves, hide themselves. Their mother's milk is so efficient that those very young calves don't defecate for 30 to 60 days into life.
Whoa.
And that's another way that they can protect themselves and avoid detection from predators because there's no scent left behind to help guide those predators to them.
Sorry, I had another question and I completely forgot about it because I was just looking at how pretty he is. Oh, I remember. Do you know how many Okapi calves have been born here at Brookfield Zoo throughout the years?
Oh, the number that's in my head is 27, but that's an old number.
Okay. That still seems like a lot.
Yeah, my guess would be that it's over 30 at this point.
That's very cool.
Oh, he's going to want to go inside.
All right, well, we can wrap up.
He might leave us. Thank you guys so much for joining us today and celebrating JP's birthday with us. We always appreciate your support. Next time you're at the zoo, come out to Habitat Africa the Forest to see these amazing okapi.